I see it.
Hey everyone, we are here with Kat Murphy's Amazing Woman. So excited to talk with you today. You are just such a great role model for other women and other human beings in general. Some of the stuff that I admire about you is that you've gone for some of the things that you wanted to learn how to do, and you're nailing it. You're a loving, kind human being, and I just want to know more about you, and I want everybody else here to know more too. So can you tell us a little bit about you, Kat?
I can. I just appreciate you. Thank you for having me here. Um, it's just honor. It's an honor to collaborate with you. So a little bit about me. I'm not originally from Arizona. I'm from California. I'm from Compton, California. At that, um, the way that I grew up in an area where, of course, there was gang activity, drugs, things of that nature. However, my parents brought me up to where we were in church pretty much all the time, whether it's Sunday school, choir rehearsal, Bible study, things of that nature. So I did grow up in a church home. I went to Catholic school pretty much all my life. So that's the type of background that I grew up in. So my environment did not influence me to be the person that most people will think I grew up since I was in Compton. So I'm pretty much a well-rounded type of person, you know.
You're a mom of three amazing kids and
Yes,
have all
yes.
kinds of abilities. But for those of us who don't know Compton, it sounds like there was some gang activity, maybe some criminal activity there.
Right, right. And I did have friends that were involved, but how my parents raised me was like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
Let me just go to school and come home. I ran track in high school. I went on to college, several different colleges, because just trying to find myself as a person. But I knew that I always wanted to be in the criminal justice, law enforcement type of environment.
Okay.
So if I could change or make some type of difference, that was the type of person that I wanted to be. So I did study criminal justice, and that was majority of my college was criminal justice, and I minored in music.
Okay. Wow. Interesting, right? Like one's over here and one's over the other side of the spectrum.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
You could sing to people when you arrest them, maybe.
Exactly, exactly. You
Yeah,
have the
you're
right
right.
to remain silence. No.
On that. That's great. So, what do you do with your criminal justice degree?
That's
What's your job
well,
now?
right now I work for the Arizona State of Arizona Corrections Department. I've been doing that for 20 years. Oh my
What?
God. For 20 years. Yes. I've been down. I've been locked down for 20 years, but I really enjoy my job. I really enjoy it.
That's
When I
great.
first started in California, I did work for the sheriff department for a bit. And I was thinking, well, what can I do in order to be like, in order to help someone? Because when you're a police officer, you're basically there to stop crime from happening.
Mhm.
But inside the prison system, we want to rehabilitate
Okay.
the inmates, and we want them to come out to be productive members of society. And so I felt that what is there something that I can do to influence them in order to be productive members of society? So I find my way. If I know someone is being released, I ask them, what is your plan? Do you have a plan? Are you going to get a job? Are you going to stay away from those people that you were friends with that had you locked up? Are you going to get away from them and make new friends that are trying to build something better and be better people in the community? And so those are the things that I ask those inmates. Do you have a plan? And then if you do have a plan or you don't have a plan, write it down, because if it's, to me, I'm a type of person, if it's not on paper, it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
You're not going to follow through. So
Yeah.
write your plan down. And so I find myself, that's what I always say to those who are about to be released or on the way out the door. Those are the things that I want to bring to their attention to be better, productive people in society.
Right before they're going to go back into society from being.
Correct.
Yeah. That's powerful, Kat. I mean, just being the kind of person that you are, that you're heartfelt and you care about people, just being there and listening to these individuals is so powerful. You know, and then
it's, you know, I'm gonna tell you about a situation where I had, there was an inmate who overdosed on drugs. And so we had to perform life-saving measures on that inmate. And when I saw him in the state that he was, I asked him, I said, do you know who I am? He's like, yeah, you're Lieutenant Murphy. I was like, okay. I said, I need you to come out of this. You got to come out. You got to do better for yourself. You can't die here. I don't want you to die in prison. And so you can just tell that he couldn't believe I'm saying this to him. Like, right. You the police, why are you telling me this? Why? And I'm like, well, I'm different. You know, I'm a different type of person. And so I saw him on a lower custody unit, and he's like, you know what, Lieutenant Murphy, I appreciate that. I appreciate you just caring. Because a lot of cops in the prison don't care at all. And I appreciate that. And I said, have you been staying off drugs? He said, yes, I have been staying off drugs. I'm not going to go back there anymore. And then every so often I check up on him. I was like, how you doing? You good? He's like, yeah, I'm good. Okay. Yeah. So
that makes such a difference to just have him have like a real present person talking to him.
Right. Right. Yeah. So, and then I see, like, when I'm out on the streets, I see people that used to be inside of the prison and they're out now being productive members of society. And you know somebody in prison when they say, hey, Lieutenant Murphy, I'm like, who knows me by my last name? So I was like, oh, it has to be somebody from prison. And I'm like, hey, how you doing? You looking good? You got your stuff together? And they said, yes, you know, and they remember the good people. They always remember the people in there that are at least trying to help them be successful in society, you know. But then I also hold them accountable. If they're doing something wrong inside prison, guess what? They get held accountable also for their actions, and they get told, I think I'm like a mother figure. Okay. So they get told, when they hear I'm very disappointed in you, it's like a real deep, harsh word to them when they hear, I'm very disappointed in you. And they're like, thank you, Louis. Or is that Lois? Lois. She said, that's the problem. Not enough people care enough. You're absolutely right.
Absolutely. I think I actually think about that a lot because I look at the world and I'm an empath. So I feel all of these problems, like everything's falling apart. And what I see is that there's a lack of embodiment. There's a lack of people being present and saying, I'm here, I see you, and I'm caring right now. I want you to know, you know what I mean? There's no like heart in a lot of the things that we do. So the fact that you do that in such an important place, which is prison, I mean, that's one of the places, unfortunately, where we need a lot more heart. You know, these are people who they didn't learn any better, or they come from hurt, and that's why they're, you know, breaking laws and hurting other people. So,
and they need that compassion. They need that empathy. And it's not just on the inmates, as staff members too, as well. I've been in situations where I've seen or heard a staff member committing suicide. Yeah. You know, there's a lot of mental health issues within our organization. And that was something that I did bring up to my administrators, because, you know, you want to hold staff members accountable for their actions, of course, but you also want to empathize what they're going through. We don't know what's going on at home. For some reason, my computer's batteries looks like it's dying, but I have this cord here. But
That's
you
funny,
want to have some type of empathy. What'd you say?
Oh, I said mine is low too, which I forgot my plug. I'm gonna have to get up in a minute. So anyway, we're on the same page.
You want to have some type of empathy for our staff members as well. Being in the law enforcement industry, it's very stressful. Within the organization, we go through so much stress, and we have to think right then and there. So when you have a person who has taken some type of drug, they're overdosing, you have to think fast because you have to save that life. That's part of our jobs, is saving a life.
Right.
So, and it's stressful on staff members. A lot of inmates don't understand that it's stressful, because guess what? You can die. And then unfortunately, say if an inmate does die, all of a sudden there's repercussions. Well, what did you do wrong?
Right.
What did you do wrong in that situation? And we get disciplinary for it. It sucks, but that's what that happened. That has happened.
Yeah.
So it's a stressful job being.
Their lives are in their hands.
Yes, and that's what we do. We're part of we're part of the community, and we're making sure that these inmates don't escape. So we're making sure that the community is safe, and then also we're saving the lives of the inmates, and we're making sure that the inmates are safe as well from harm.
Right.
So there's so much that we are responsible for, and I don't think a lot of the public understands what it is that we go through.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't think so. But I do know that I have to get my plug. Otherwise, we're going to end this interview. So I will bring back 30 seconds.
Get your plug. While she's getting her plug, does anybody else have any questions for me that you can think of? I know. Feel free to come be part of the conversation.
Absolutely. I love it when people chime in. Yeah, my computer went down to 2%, so that had to happen.
Oh wow.
Ooh, sorry guys. But I love hearing about this because we know about the criminal justice system, right? We all know it happens, and it's important, but we really don't see the inside of it. How is it for inmates to be there? How is it for people like you to keep order within the prison system and to keep people in order?
Yeah.
So
it's difficult. It can be difficult, and I know that whole criminal justice system is a big platform where there's like inequality in the criminal justice system, and there's that measure, but I think the whole criminal justice system does need to be revamped to be equal for everybody. Just be fair,
Who do you feel? Are there certain types of people who are treated unfairly within the prison system? Are you allowed to talk about this publicly, or?
Within the criminal justice system, me as a person looking outside in, I think I have my own opinion on it. I guess I don't know.
Well, and you're kind of in it.
I'm trying to think. Should I?
Right, go there.
Where I'm at, everybody's treated fair. I treat everybody fair.
Right.
It doesn't matter what you look like. If you did an infraction, guess what? You're gonna be held accountable for your infraction. Period. And that's how I tell my staff to do so. Everybody's treated fair. Where I'm at.
Right. So you're putting that out there. You're like, okay, this is my boundary. When you're working with me, this is how it goes.
Right.
I think that's
from and you have to be fair, firm, and consistent, because if you're not fair, firm, and consistent, it's not right at all. You have to be. You have to maintain that fairness for everyone.
Right. Well, it's important.
And I've never had any issue for the 20 years that I've been in the criminal justice system or even in the corrections. I've never had any issues. They um, always say that I've treated them fairly.
Wow.
Like, you know what? You are fair, LT.
Wow.
So,
That's amazing. That's an accomplishment. That's a lot of
it
years.
is. It is.
Yeah.
And I'm due to retire in a couple of months at the end of June. Yes.
Oh,
I am so I'm sad, but I'm happy too as well. It's time for me to move on to something new and something better, and something where I feel that there is another calling for, and for me to have a voice for these people, and that's the kids. I'll be working for the Department of Children's Safety, and I'll be investigating child abuse. So that is another thing that I said, you know what, I want to be a voice for those who are voiceless.
Right. And I say that's great because I'm hearing your heart and what you put into your job. And I think that's an arena that just needs so much heart.
Yes.
Because it's not just the kids that are involved, it's the families, and the people who are abusing are also coming from a place of pain as well.
Exactly.
A lot going on there.
Right. So that is something that, I think I prayed about it, because at first I'm like, do I really want to see this? Do I want to walk into a family's home and see just how they're raising their kids? And then me with the law enforcement background and a security background, my first thing, like, let's call the police, let's get them arrested. But, you just have to think about, maybe they need help. Maybe they don't know how to love their children because they've never been loved before. So they need to, have some type of counseling of something of that nature. So, that's something that I'm really interested in and want to help families in order to be better people as well.
Yeah, that takes a lot because you have to come in with heart because it's a really sensitive situation, but also come in with strength, and saying, okay, I'm going to look deep into this. I'm not going to, look away from what's happening here, and I'm going to hold everybody accountable. So I think that'll be amazing, and hopefully I get to hear some about it. Once
yes,
we chat about it. But it's interesting that you come from an inner city, right, Compton, and you saw some of the things that you saw, and then you came out with, this passion to help people through criminal justice. It's funny because I'm from the healing background, right, but I feel like you're a healer with what you do. Coming into the criminal justice system with your feelings intact, with your emotions present.
Right.
That's healing, and we don't apply.
I never thought of it that way. Yeah.
We don't apply healing to those places as much as we need to, right? But it's like a gaping wound in our society that needs a lot of TLC. So I see you as a healer. Actually.
Oh wow! I never looked at it that way. Now that you say it, yeah.
Well, think about it too. Wow. I mean, you're an artist, right? So you have that aspect to yourself. It's almost like the same energy that you're putting into your work is like this passion. And sometimes boundaries are passionate, right? Sometimes boundaries are full of love. Like, no, you know what? You messed up your life and you're here. And because I have love for human beings, I'm putting boundaries up. I'm not going to put up with your stuff. You're not going to get away with anything, but I'm going to help you too if you do well.
Exactly.
That's all healing energy, and I see that. So I just want to reflect that back to you.
All right. Thank you.
Absolutely. And just coming from an atmosphere where there's crime happening and then turning it, making lemonade from the lemons.
Yes.
That's absolutely what you did. So I can't help but wonder how you have time to do everything that you do. You have 3 kids. You have a job where you're a supervisor, and you also are a painter and a singer.
I am. I paint, I sing. Those are outlets for me, with our stressful, with my stressful job. Those are outlets. But I've been singing since I was 7. So I grew up I grew up in the church. I've been singing since I was 7. So that's always been a part of my DNA. And then recently I started doing art as another outlet. One of my friends taught me how to do the acrylic pour. And so I just ran with it. And I'm like, this is something that is like so peaceful, and no piece is the same. Everything is different when you're creating, and you just pour and just come out with beautiful pieces. And that's what I like about painting and the acrylic pouring, and just beautiful. I enjoy it a lot. I've been staying busy with that, and so I have sold a couple of pieces I'm very proud of. So it's like, yeah. So and technically I'm not supposed to open my business until until fall. And I've already sold some pieces. So it's like, I'm not even officially open.
Well, I would say that, the energy that you've put in, the authentic energy you've put in is coming back to you. You're getting it back. So you deserve it. Bring it back to you, right?
Yes.
So you say that it's an outlet. You and I talked before about, that life is hard sometimes, and we go through things. So I'm hearing that this is a way that you handle some of those things. Would you say that that's true?
It is true. With music, I do produce my own music. I write my own lyrics. So it's just little outlets that I like to use, as well as I do go to counseling. I see a therapist and talk to the therapist, because there's somehow, what does that say? I hate how people.
Sorry. I'll show it again.
Oh, okay. I hate how people judge before knowing anything about you. Way too much judgment in the world. That is true. That's fact. There is way too much judgment in this world. Even me being a Black person, African American, I've been experiencing where I'm walking down the street and a person will put the person on the other side, judging me just because I'm Black, like, no, I'm not trying to rob you. Sorry. I probably got more money in my pocketbook than you do.
Exactly. Right.
So, but yeah, people do judge, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah. And that's a good point. Just being yourself, walking down the street, and people are having their own entire internal dialogue about you. That has nothing to do with you.
Exactly.
It's not about you. It's about them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So my outlet, besides painting and singing and making music, I do see a therapist just to talk about any issues that I'm having at work, having with my home life. We did talk about earlier about, how right now I am married. However, I'm separated, separated from my husband for 5 years now. And so how we work things out, because we do have 3 beautiful children, and we chose to make the decision. Hey, do you want to stay with mom or do you want to stay with dad? And because they're older and they're able to have opinions, and we gave them that choice. When you met me, I had both of my boys with me, and my daughter was with dad. And so now my other son went back to his dad. And so we gave him that choice. It was like, we have no say. If that's who they want to be, that's who they want to be with, So they're little people too,
And we did talk also how this is empowerment. You're empowering your children to be human beings. They have feelings about where they want to go. The fact that you and their dad live in different parts of the country, it makes it like, okay, you have to choose one or the other. You can't go back and forth every week, like some of us can. So,
right.
That's pretty cool that they're able to participate in their own reality.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
I think we could have all used a little bit of that growing up.
you know.
Right.
Just have choices, you know, and it does prepare them for life, you know, that they do have a say. They do
Mhm.
have to stand up for what they believe in and for what is right. And you know, even though mom and dad are not together, we're still friends. We still make a decision as parents, and we're still co-parenting, and
Mhm.
they still see that we still love each other. It just didn't work, you know.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
part of life, you know.
Right.
So things does happen, and they see that, and they see that mom and dad, they do love each other. It's just they don't
That's
get
right.
along.
Yeah,
You
divorce
know,
is one of
but
the hardest things that we go through, you know?
yeah,
And it
yeah,
sounds like you guys are doing it gracefully, which is,
yes.
I mean, not that it's graceful constantly, but it sounds like you've, found a system.
And then we want them to be happy, you know. Our relationship, even though it didn't work out, we still want to raise happy and healthy children,
Mhm.
and what they say does make a difference.
Mhm. That's great. It's not the norm for sure.
Right,
So it's cool to hear the story because I think more people need to see, that's actually a possibility that we
right.
can put more power into our kids' choices.
And it's sad that because you do see a lot where the parents are arguing, well, no, the kids are staying with me. No, the
Yeah.
kids are staying. No, it's
Yep.
like, well, what does the kids want to do? Who
Right.
do they want to stay with? You know, and
Yeah.
that should be their decisions. They're little people, little adults, you know, not little adults, but they're little people too and they know who they want to be with,
Yeah.
you know. So we should just, you know, back our egos out the way and let them choose, you know.
Can I write that
And
on a t-shirt?
and that's what we did, you know, that's how we chose. And right
Mhm.
now everybody's happy.
Yeah. Back your ego out the way.
Exactly.
That should be like plaster, right? All over. Um, so what is one of the hardest things that you have had to overcome in your life?
Oh my goodness. Me being a very, I can say I'm a vocal person, and sometimes my mouth does get me in trouble. And so one of the things I have to learn is um, try to think before I speak. So there's been times where um, I may have gotten into a situation with this is at work with another staff member, another officer, and you know, I just want to choke them because they made the wrong decision or something has happened, and I'm like, no. So sometimes I just have to think about it before I speak and not be too harsh, because I know there's been times I have been harsh,
Mhm.
and sometimes they are afraid to approach me. I was like, oh, I don't want to make Lieutenant Murphy mad or anything of that
Yeah.
nature. But
Yeah.
I just want to sit down, like, you know what, and really articulate to them what they did wrong and what they could do, what they could have done better. And
Yeah.
and I just tell them, you know what, at the end of the day, if you read policy and look at the policies and procedures, those are the blueprints for you to go by in order to be a successful officer. And that's
Yeah.
what I've been doing for the past 20 years. I was like, I've been in your shoes. I've been
Mhm.
there. You know, I'm not just saying this just because they hired me as a lieutenant. No, I've been an officer. You
Mhm.
know, I went from officer to sergeant to lieutenant. You know, I made those decisions, and I'm not telling you anything wrong. Everything that I'm telling you is in policy. You know,
Mhm.
but
Right.
I think it's how I say it. I need to work on my approach, because I
Yeah.
can be too like, ooh. So that's something I've learned over the
Yeah.
years, you know, to just to sit back and think before I speak.
Mhm.
And um, and then also I've learned, like, you know what, let me have a witness in the room with me,
Right.
because it's also like um a, I want to say it like a someone that's there. So if I know somebody's there, then I won't curse no one out. No
Right.
one, nobody out. I
Right.
can be very, very
Right.
calming and my delivery, like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Well,
Because
it gives
sometimes
you
you just
that
want to cuss somebody
boundary,
in a
right?
minute.
Like, yeah, I'm not going to
But
strangle anybody if there's somebody else in the room.
right,
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So,
That
but
passionate personality thing, right?
Correct. And then there's one of the hardest thing that I have to learn in my job, is being able to discuss my what I see was wrong in our department. And I had a discussion with my higher ups on, we were talking about mental health. I think we need to push that towards our officers, that there is help available, and
Okay.
make that known to our officers so they'll know that they're not alone.
Right.
And when someone was going through some hard times, it's like, hey, we do have people there to help. Even if you're going through some financial trouble, there's people there. Here are the steps that you need to go to in order to help you be financially prepared, for your future. So, or if you have some type of mental breakdown, there's lines that you can call. There's people, that you can call to talk to,
Yeah.
So,
well, and to have it be acceptable that you're not always on top of your stuff. You don't always know what to do. If anybody has trouble, they lose themselves, they lose their way. That can be depressing. That can create anxiety, but they can talk about it. It's okay. Especially as a police officer, right? Like,
right. You're not by yourself. You're not alone. There's a lot of people that are going through the same thing that you're going through. You just, there's a telephone call away,
Yeah.
So I just want to, in fact, I had expressed that maybe like 3 or 4 months ago to my higher ups, that we need to be more proactive in getting that information out to our staff members, because we want them to be able to talk to somebody, and we want to save a life.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I just picture having that responsibility on your shoulders of keeping other people together, right? As an officer, you're an authority, you have to keep it together, but you bottle all those feelings up inside, it's going to come out somehow.
Right. And things happen at home. You may be, your home life may not be going too well, and you take it and you bring it to work, or vice versa. Your work situation may not be going too well, and you bring it home. So we have to learn how to separate the two in order to, be well-rounded. And sometimes it is hard. So that's when therapy comes into play, and you have those people who are very, that's what their job are, to tell you what to do. We have our friends that we talk to, but they're not trained at doing, helping us out. They're more yes to you. Oh yeah, you're doing the right thing, and they're not being helpful.
Right. That's where therapy comes in.
Exactly. And I have no problem with it at all. I enjoy talking. And I know my therapist, he enjoys hearing, the things that I have to say. And it's so funny. He told me that I'm the only person that he has on his caseload that's not on medication.
Wow.
And I'm like, and so pretty soon he's going to leave me, and he's going to, I guess I have to get another person. And he said, would you mind staying on in order for that person to know what it is to stay with someone who's not on the medication? I was like, sure. If I'm helping them, I think he's part of the U of A staff. Okay. I said, if I'm helping them to be a better, therapist, I will definitely stay on. So.
Right. Wow. Yeah, I think watching our mental health is really important.
It is.
Even if we think we got it all together, something can happen and we feel like we're not together anymore all of a sudden. So I give you credit for committing to your own therapy.
Yes.
And that's empowerment as well.
Definitely, in order to stay sane.
Yeah. And one of the groups that we're broadcasting in right now is Women Empowered, and I really, to whoever is listening or who might listen in the future, I want to create this as a message to say, to be empowered is to go after what you need for yourself. It's not, waiting for other people to change or waiting for yourself to just feel differently. It's taking proactive action to take care of yourself and to invest, in your well-being.
Right. And
So
if you
this,
can't do that, how are you able to love somebody else? If you don't love yourself, how are you going to love somebody else? So we do have to work on ourselves in order to love others as well. And you're
absolutely.
never too old to learn. Believe
You know,
me.
I'll be going to therapy all my life.
Okay.
Why not? Because even if things are all right, you need to talk to somebody. I think you need to talk to somebody. Just to have somebody who's not connected to whatever's going on for you in your life.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. I will have to agree with that.
Yeah, it helps
Yes,
perspective.
ma'am. Yes,
Um,
ma'am.
so, what would you say is one of your greatest strengths?
One of my greatest strengths, I think the ability to, you know what? I think my singing is a strength. Um, I have that passion to sing, and I hear people tell me that, oh, you brought chills. I feel when you
Mm,
sing, I feel chills. And so I'm a very modest person. I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. And I don't realize the impact that I have on someone when I sing. And there was a situation where I sung a song for someone and just brought them to tears.
Wow.
And it's just because how I they knew that I just put, my soul into it and my emotions into it. And so I think that's one of my strengths, and is connecting, I guess connecting
Okay.
um to a person through song.
Okay.
So
Beautiful. Beautiful. How did you come into singing? Started in the church for you, but then what
right.
made you feel like, yeah, I want to learn how to paint. I want to learn how to do this stuff.
Oh, for painting? Um what I know my daughter, she does not painting, but she draws. So
Okay.
she was another one of my influences, where she was drawing. And these kids, they got these iPads, and so she does these characters. She draw the character on the iPads, and she's able to make turn into animation somehow, and make
Okay.
like cartoons. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this little girl can do that. She can do anything. So she was a big influence on me. Like I said earlier, one of my good friends, he taught me how to do the acrylic pour, and I just fell in love with it.
Awesome.
I think I'm gonna show you one of
Yes,
my
please
pictures.
do. Please do.
Let's see.
Please do. For those of you listening, Kat does sell her artwork, so you can find her. She's
This is,
awesome.
if you can see, I call this
Mm,
Blue Rose. I don't know if you can see it.
yeah,
There you go.
yeah,
And then I don't know what this is, but I thought it was beautiful too as well.
nice. You can see a
Mm.
lot in that, in the movement.
It's beautiful. I mean, it's just something like every picture is different. You don't
Wow.
create the same thing.
Yeah,
Everything is different.
it's gorgeous.
And then I could also turn a picture into a canvas.
Oh, that's
So
so cool.
this is me,
I know
and
that face.
so I just create. I don't know if you can see the sides of
Yeah.
it, but it has like some type of jewel on the
Okay.
side.
Yeah, yeah.
So I kind of
Cool.
try to turn it into something beautiful.
Yeah,
But it's like an outlet. It's an outlet for me to
yeah.
just let my mind create using different colors. I had a picture where one of my friends asked me, well, can you use these 6 colors? And I said, okay, I'll use those 6 colors. And I just create a beautiful piece for him. And
Yeah.
he enjoyed it. He loved it.
Awesome.
He loved it. So
Awesome. It's
my little outlets.
an energy outlet, right? Like
Yes,
you're
yes.
moving it. So let's see. What would you tell? So what I'm seeing here is that you've gathered tools in your life. You found a purpose. You found what a purpose, like in criminal justice, gave you
Mhm.
a place to put your passions, right? A
Mhm.
direction, an outlet. Where you could have grown up in Compton and been negatively affected by some of the things.
Right.
Obviously your parents were really proactive and were great parents. They gave you positive places to be and people to be around who were good influences. But given where you grew up, it could have been, your life could have been anyway, but you made an effort. You've connected to parts of yourself that bring you fulfillment and growth and impact the world positively. So what would you say, to anyone who might be struggling or not feeling good about themselves or not feeling happy?
If you're struggling with not feeling good about yourself, that's a great question. There are people who are worse than what you are. There are people who don't have a home. There are people who don't have a place to live, have a place to go. All the homeless people. If you look downtown Tucson, I'm from Compton, down Los Angeles. There's Skid Row. Those people don't have a place to go. They live on the streets. So there are people who are worse off than you. So what my thing is, you want to just have a positive mind, love yourself, be grateful. Some people didn't wake up this morning. When you woke up this morning, you're blessed because you're here. So just have more of a positive outlet. Look at the glass half full and instead of half empty. So you always have to stay positive, because we can pull ourselves down. I know in singing, I'm my worst critic. I sing and I'm like, oh no, I don't think I did so well. But we're so hard on ourselves, and we don't look at, what we don't look at the fact that there's people that are worse off than us. So just stay positive, stay focused. If you need, say you got a weight issue, just educate yourself on, well, what do I need to do in order to lose this weight? I know I yo up and down with my weight, and I figure out, you know what? I love myself. I'm gonna try to stay healthy as much as I can. If I fall down, because there's gonna be times where you're gonna fall down, guess what? Get back up. If you fall down 8 times, you're getting back up the 9th time. So you have to stay positive in your life. And that's what I'll say, to just stay positive, stay focused. There's people worse off than what we are today.
Right. We forget that. We get really caught up in what's bugging us.
Right.
We lose sight, we lose perspective. We think this is the worst it can be. And
exactly.
While our feelings and our experiences are important to look at, we also have to figure out, okay, wait a second. There are some good things about who I am, about what I've accomplished, about what's happened to me, what I've learned from things that have been hard. I think as a society, we get stuck in that negative thinking of, oh, my childhood was this, or my family is this, or I've got this mental problem or this physical problem. And, so therefore you might have to work harder, but there is something that you can do. There's people you can reach out to. I'm here in the group. If anybody ever wants to talk, I try to be here. I'm actually going to start a free monthly group on here. I'd like to start at the end of June, maybe beginning of July, just for anybody who watches this. And it will be about positive mindset. It will be about self-empowered mindset. And I'm not going to charge for that. That'll just be show up. Show up for the long term, whatever you want to do. Because I think
it going to be like a Zoom type of thing,
or just Zoom? But I also have to look into, because I'm not techie. I've tried all the tech stuff, but I know that in the Facebook women's group there is a room. You can create a room.
I
don't know anything about it yet.
I saw it, but I don't know. I don't know how that works either.
Sometimes I try things on Facebook and I think it's going to work and it doesn't. So I feel like I need to try that. I'd like to do it there, but I need to experiment a little bit. Otherwise, it'll be Zoom, and I'll definitely introduce it and let people know about it before it's happening. But I hope people take advantage of that. Just to remind everybody that we're not alone, and sometimes it takes effort to get out of that negative thought rut in your head, to become your best friend, to become your best ally, and not a lead weight on your own ankles, right?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So that's coming. I've also got, I'm about to get, actually might be happening today. I've got this wonderful lady, Courtney, printing t-shirts for women empowered for
Oh, wow.
empowering women with positive messaging on their t-shirts. I'm actually going to reach out to you once they're printed, and I'll offer you one for free. And because you did the interview, and anyone else who's done an interview will get a free shirt of their choice.
Okay.
I have a few different designs, but just to put that positive message out there, right? To plaster it on our bodies, put it on the wall, listen to people who have positive messaging. Watch this interview over and over again for an inspiring woman, like Kat. Surround yourself with this. Let it rub off on you,
right. Yeah.
Empowerment, one of the women that I follow a lot as a mentor is Lisa Nichols. I don't know if you've followed her at all. But one of the things that she says that I love, she's like a multi-million-dollar business owner now. She helps people. But one of my favorite things that she used to say is that before she made it big, she used to go to her friends' houses who had a lot of money, and she would literally just like touch their stuff. She's like, I want to bring it into my reality. Right? I want to connect to this and realize that this is a part of my world and it can be a part of my life.
Exactly.
Right? So I think that that's what we do when we do interviews like this and conversations in the group I'm offering, the shirts I'm offering. I've got these little cards too. Hold on. You can't read it from here. Where's the camera? You can't even see it, but there you can kind of see it. But it's these little laminated cards that people have been really enjoying because it gives you like, okay, when your day is feeling rough, just do this really quick. Here's a few ideas to just do to make your life better. It's bringing these ideas from the outside into your experience so that you can have a better experience, right?
Okay.
I get on my
so you get those cards you give out?
Yeah, they're free. Okay. I wish I could show it better. I'm not good at this stuff. Technology, you know what? Oh, there we go. Use this card when you feel out of control of your life. That's what it says on the top.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. So you just keep it in your purse or your pocket. And on the other side, it's got 3 different ideas of things you can do within a minute to 3 minutes to just lift your energy up, lift your mindset up. So there's lots of tools. I offer a lot of stuff for free. If you're listening to this and you want one of those cards, just email me your address and I will send you one for free. Kat, you can have one with your shirt if you want.
Okay. Yes.
But I really appreciate you being here, and you're amazing. Don't forget.
Thank you.
Don't forget that you're a positive influence. So I really appreciate you being willing to be here with us today. And
I appreciate it. I appreciate being here.
I wonder if you would sing us out of the interview. You might have to back up a little bit because I think
I got such a loud voice.
You're so powerful. You're gonna break the
I might break my mic. Let's see.
Okay.
Let's see. Let's see. I believe the children are future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us how we used to be. Okay.
Oh, I just got tears in my eyes. So beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, sending you so much love, girl. Thank you for being a positive force in the world. You are so important.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So
well, bring me back anytime.
Yeah, you can come back anytime. You just tell me, Melissa, I'm in the mood to go on video.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Much love to you. I will. I'll talk to you about the t-shirt and about swimming later in the summer.
Yes.
All right. You have a great day.
All right. You too. Okay. Bye, everybody.